Alrighty guys, we've taken the rods out, the pistons out. They're still in order. I'm going to number them, but then we're going to disconnect the rods from the pistons because we have those new rods to go on. We're taking it all apart all at once because I'm going to take the rotating assembly down to the machine shop and have them balance it. So we're going to start with the flywheel, pressure plate stuff back here, the pulley, and the outside pulley for the serpentine belt, and then the inside pulley for the timing belt. The pin kit I got in there also, and then we're gonna get the crank out. I just wanted to show you that. Look how that it's just so smooth. So this is a good starting point. Much better than our other one over there. I'm only balancing it really because I'll show you. Well, two reasons. I'd like it to be live long. The other reason is if you look here, the stock rod was 569 grams, and the max speeding rod it was 601 grams. We just weighed one, but that 32 grams difference is significant, and so the counterbalances may have to have some weight added to them because it's up down rather than opposing sides at different places like in a V8. So it's a little bit more important. Some may think because there's two up and two down that it doesn't matter, but it's not just the counterbalance, but I'm going to say a term, but you may not be familiar with or whatever, but it's bob weight. So all through this arc they're not perfectly countered. So like right here, this one is weighted at an angle, and that one's weighted at an angle, and so the balancing will help because they'll do it at different places along the counterweight. It's more complex than balancing a tire, to be honest with you. Anyway, that's the way it was explained to me, so I'm just kind of hitting you guys up. We're got all this stuff in a bin just to set it aside. Since this is going to be about a month out, maybe 3 weeks out for balancing, we're going to put a pause on the building of the motor. I'm thinking about having the head, although I was going to just use the stock for right now. Got it all apart and it's in good shape. I'm thinking about having the head, new valves and better springs and retainers put in while we're at this point. It doesn't make any sense not to, since I have the time now. I'm going to talk to my buddy Joe and see if he wants to do that. He's the one that came over and weighed the stuff. So anyway, I was giving you guys an update what we're doing today. So the next step is to get this guy out. I'll show you. I mean, you can see those bearing surfaces they're just beautiful. It's just beautiful. Yeah, it's just nothing. They're smooth, and every one of them. So this is a much better engine, much better crank. I think it overheated. I think it had a blown head gasket or something like that, because it's it's not an oil problem for sure. Whatever reason they stopped using this motor, probably a wreck or it overheated. But, anyway, there you go. All right, I was gonna stamp these, but I noticed that it's already there. Let's see if I can show you. So it's a little bit hard to see, but there's a 1, there's a 2, there's a 3 in the center, which tells you that it's thrust 4. Well, I don't know if it tells you it's thrust, but it reminds me that it's thrust 5. So we're just going to pull these guys out, keep the bolts in the same orientation, and take this front cover off, and then get that crank out of there. Alright, so we got the crank out. We got it spun around here. I forgot to take those oilers out, so I'll spin it around again, but because I'm going to clean these cylinders up, just hit them with, so when they break in the rings will break in nicely. Hit them with the hone. So I'll take those out, but you saw how easily that crank spun. Everything on it looks really nice. All the bearing surfaces are beautiful. Anyway, we're going to reuse the bearings. I mean, they're nice. I kept them in order and everything. Got the thrust bearings in there also, thrust washers. We pulled the pins out of the pistons, those little spring clips, and then pushed it out. It's got a little corrosion on it, so they come out a little bit difficult. Then we took all the rings off of the pistons. Oh, I wanted to show you this. I don't know if you can see it very well, but there was a why you wear safety glasses way up here in the roof. You can see that or not? There's a little brown spot where one of those rings that holds the piston pin in. When I went to pop it out, it flung up there and stuck in there. It's just styrofoam, but it flung, you know, 12 foot up, and it stuck in the ceiling. So I had to get a ladder to get it down, because those all have to go. So in the box, oh no, hopefully we can edit that out. Sorry, Jerry. In the box, I yeah, so I wrote down my name and everything on here. It's also got my phone number, everything that I'm taking. So what you have to do is you have to take the pins and anything connected to the rotating assembly. So the crank pulley, the serpentine pulley, the bearings, crank bolt, the pins and the retainers for the pistons. The new rods are already loaded in the truck, and the flywheel is already loaded in the truck. I went and sent the whole clutch kit, although only the metal components to go on there. My pistons are all cleaned up. You cannot see them probably, but oh, you can. Actually, pretty good. I cleaned them up, and now I'm going to soak them overnight, and then just hit them with that guy just to make them look a little bit nicer, but not too hard, because I don't want to wear any of the tear any of the special coating off the sides. Just clean the surfaces and stuff, so the machine shop has something clean to work with. I'm not going to clean the crank because I like to have oil on it, just in case it sits in their shop for a minute. I don't want to get any surface rust on those bearing surfaces, so I'm going to leave it oily. But yeah, and I think I'm going to talk to my buddy Joe about, since we've got a few weeks, about redoing this head. He did some really nice polishing and porting and stuff and clearancing on the back of my wife's Audi head, the 2-liter. So if we can get some good breathing out of this, I mean, those ports are pretty daggum nice. But springs and retainers will give me a little bit more RPM for the bigger turbo. And, so I think I might do that. I'm going this far, I might as well do it good. Anyway, there's an update for the day, my friends. Maybe tomorrow we'll hone this a little bit and then bag it up, because that'll be the last thing we do for a few weeks. All right, there you go. Alrighty, guys. So we got our crank back from the machine shop. They polished it, took all of the parts for balancing, got it all balanced. Some paperwork here. Just shows what the specs were and the balancing specs, and then well, I can't find the card, but it just shows how many ounces or how many grams each component was off and what they did to correct it. That's disappointing, I can't find that card. But the flywheel was the worst off by a few grams, and they corrected that. So I just wanted to make clear, this is a whole new block, different from the one than this one. We already honed, you know, so in an earlier video I honed a little bit but this is the one that had the main cap issue. So this is set aside. It's not in my heart to give up on it yet. But so we're gonna go ahead and hone these guys out. Just a light hone. You can still see, if you look at there, you can see the hone marks from the factory. We're just gonna clean this up first of all, just to clean it up so we have a fresh bore, and put some rough hone in it so that the new rings have something to break into, if that makes sense. This is just to help with oil control, really. These hones in here look really good. You can see it's a good fresh block, or newer block. I did try not to blind you with the light. I did take out the oil oil sprayers this time, so hopefully I won't break another thing on my hone. So I'm not going to, since I recorded the hone or showed you the honing earlier, I'm not going to do that again, but I just wanted to let you know what we were doing and why. And yeah, anyway, we'll get that done and I'll show you the results. Hey, thanks for tuning in to this week's installment of the B5 A4 Audi build. Tune in next week for the next installment. Hope you enjoy this series and have a great time working on your cars.